Good evening, Yorktown. This is Supervisor Matt Slater. Welcome to what's turned into our weekly Q&A session regarding the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. I'm joined with a group of special guests. I have the President of the Yorktown Chamber of Commerce here, Sergio Esposito. To my left, I have our Councilman Ed Lachterman, and with us tonight is our Highway Superintendent, Dave Paganelli. We have a couple of announcements that we want to start with, and then we're going to go right into questions from the public. We also had a couple emailed to us, which I'll address as well. The numbers for Yorktown tonight now stand at 412 confirmed COVID-19 cases. In Westchester, the number is now 27,664, which is an increase of 433. And across New York State, the number is now 288,045, which is an increase of 5,902 from the day prior. Earlier today, and I want to go over this with the public, earlier today, Governor Cuomo held one of his daily briefing and talked about the reopening of New York State. And I want to preface with New York on pause is going to remain into effect until May 15th, so we still have quite a few days still ahead of us under the current circumstances. But the state, as well as the county, and here in Yorktown, we are starting to have conversations about what life is going to be like when we pull the coronavirus veil back. Obviously, in many ways, it will look different, but also, we hope, the same. So I just want to walk through what the governor put forward during his announcement. It's a multi-phased plan. Phase 1 will include opening construction and manufacturing functions with low risk to the coronavirus. Phase 2 will open industries based on priority and risk level. Businesses considered more essential with inherent low risks of infection in the workplace and to customers will be prioritized. That'll be followed by other businesses that are considered less essential or those that present a higher risk of infection spread. As the infection rate declines, the pace of reopening businesses will increase. And I want to say that again. As the infection rate declines, the pace of reopening businesses will be increased. And so what does that mean? It means we need to continue to be socially responsible. We need to continue to adhere to the New York on pause order and the parameters set forth locally as well as across the county and New York State. The region must not open attractions or businesses that would draw a large number of visitors from outside the local area. Obviously, we're going to need some additional guidelines and clarification on exactly what that means. In addition, there will be 2 weeks in between each phase to monitor the effects of the reopening and ensure hospitalization and infection rates are not increasing. And that's really the key, is the hospitalization rate. And this is based on the CDC recommendations. We're going to be putting this on our COVID-19 website at yorktownny.org. And again, I encourage everyone to utilize that as a great source of information. But based on the CDC recommendations, a region must experience a 14-day decline in hospitalization rate to begin a phased reopening process. So that's what we're talking about. It's that hospitalization rate, and it has to be a consistent 14-day decline. The plan will be implemented with multi-state coordination, especially in downstate New York. And Westchester County is considered downstate New York. Westchester, Suffolk, Nassau, and New York City are making up the downstate region in the eyes of New York State. The plan will also coordinate the opening of transportation systems, parks, schools, beaches, and businesses with special attention on summer activities for downstate, again, that's Westchester County and, of course, Yorktown, public housing in low-income communities, as well as food banks and child care. The phased reopening will also be based on individual business and industry plans that include new measures to protect employees and consumers, make the physical workspace safer, and implement processes that lower risk of infection in the business. And the state is consulting with local leaders in each region and industries to formulate these plans. And this is something, Sergio, you were with me, and Councilman Lachterman. We had John Ravitz from the Business Council of Westchester with us on Friday evening, and this was one of the things that we talked about is the fact that we have to re-explore our workplace environments. I can tell you that for the town of Yorktown, we're already looking at installing plexiglass in specific areas such as the town clerk's, the window for the town clerk's office, same with the tax receiver, as well as our refuse and recycling, anywhere where there's going to be face-to-face interaction. So we're trying to plan accordingly. I actually had to run into my dry cleaners over the weekend, and they had in Jefferson Valley, and they had plexiglass in front of their register, so you can still communicate, but there was that physical barrier. So that's what we mean when we say there will be differences when we pull that veil back, and we're trying to determine that, and that's all in an effort to get our community open again. And so that's the latest from the governor's office. Again, I want to reemphasize though that in order for us to achieve what's been put forth by the governor, by the CDC, the federal government, it comes down to social responsibility. It comes down to making those right choices. And I know that a lot of people are frustrated that we are still in this situation. I think it's important to keep the time aspect in perspective. You know, we're only talking in reality of about 8 weeks, even less than that. And when you compare that to other significant and historical events within our country and society, things like World War II, the Vietnam War, those are multi-year events, and so I think it is really important for us to keep all this into perspective as best we can. So again, the importance of social responsibility, social distancing. If you are going out into the public, again, it remains only on an at-need basis. But if you can't maintain social distancing, you have to continue to wear the masks. Now, I've got my cloth mask here. Everybody at this table, gentlemen, can we hold up our masks? Sergio's got the fanciest one. Actually, where's your mask go? It's in your bag.
It's in my pocket.
I wanted Dave.
Oh, I didn't bring that mask.
Dave's got a special mask, courtesy
I have
of our neighbors.
a vampire mask, yes.
But I also want to emphasize the fact that just because you have a mask, it doesn't mean you're immune. It just significantly reduces the potential for exposure. And so do not take it for granted, even if you are wearing a mask. Continue to be socially responsible, make those right choices, and continue, please, if we want to see the phased-in reopening of our community and our region and our state, we have to continue to lead by example. And this town's done a great job. Our residents have done a great job. But this is not the time to let off the pedal. We have to keep pushing. We have to keep adhering to the parameters that are put into place for your health and for your safety, not just you individually, but every member of our community. And so, with that being said, this is a question and answer session. The phone is working, unlike last week when we didn't realize it wasn't working until about halfway in. The number here is 914-962-5722, extension 216, and that'll ring the phone in front of me. You can ask those questions right directly on Facebook. I did get a few questions emailed to me that I want to address while we wait. We have one regarding our school districts, and I know a lot of questions are posed about our schools. I did exchange some text messages with the school superintendents, Superintendent Hatter and Superintendent Stone, over the weekend. They are all doing well, and I just also want to make sure that residents understand that the town government does not oversee our school districts. They're separate entities, and that's why they have a separately elected school board, the school superintendent, and so the town government has no purview over the operations of our school districts, but we are in constant communication, and we continue to partner together in a lot of different ways, especially during this time of crisis. There were questions about summer school, which I don't have an answer to at this point in time. I have been getting a lot of questions on graduations, and that's what I posed to the superintendents. As you can see, and as I think I've described, we are all at the mercy, quite frankly, not only of our decisions, but of the directive being given by the state government and the federal government. I can tell you that the school superintendents are communicating with our senior class and their families about potential plans. They are trying to explore every potential solution to provide a graduation of some sort to the graduating class of 2020. But that is, again, all dictated by our decisions and our ability to continue to adhere to social responsibility and get the right directive from Governor Cuomo. Town Hall, this is Supervisor Slater. That's a great question. The question was the percentage of people who've paid. Thank you very much for the question. Town taxes. It's hard to say for sure, to be completely blunt, because we are continuing to receive payments. I can say that at one point last week we were outpacing our collection based on the year prior, and that's a commonality with many municipalities in Westchester, and my fellow supervisors and I really can't give a reason as to that. The tax deadline remains April 30th, and for those who can pay, we implore you to pay. Now, and it's a great segue into the tax situation for the town of Yorktown, working with County Executive Latimer, working with Governor Cuomo, working with some of our county legislators, including County Legislator Vidat Ghashi. The governor did provide an executive order that provided relief for those people who were financially impacted, whether you're a homeowner or a business, if you're financially impacted by the coronavirus. And I'm happy to review. This is all on our website again, or you can call the tax receiver's office, their extension 212. But for those residents and self-employed owners of a business, you have to be a STAR recipient. You have to be qualified for STAR. You have to pay the town directly, so not paying through an escrow, because the banks already had your tax payment as of March, believe it or not. So you have to pay the town directly, and you must certify, and we have a waiver form on the town's website that you have to submit. You must certify a COVID-19 impact to your income using the certification form. And that's for individuals and self-employed owners of a business. For businesses in the town of Yorktown and across Westchester County, you have to have a net income under $1 million for the year 2019, and you also have to sign the certification and application stating that you had an income impact due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, again, all of that is on our website. If you don't qualify for the waiver, there is a reduced penalty. There's a reduced penalty that is 0.5% for the month of May and 1% from June 1st to July 15th. If you qualify for the waiver, you still have to pay your taxes by July 15th. Anybody who doesn't pay their taxes by July 15th will see a 5% penalty, which is the normal penalty structure applied to your late taxes. And so that's a great question and walkthrough of some of the tax relief that we were able to deliver. And the town board, quite frankly, I think, was incredibly vocal and one of the leading voices as a local government standpoint about the need to make sure that we're helping those people and providing the greatest extent of relief that we can for folks who are negatively impacted financially by the COVID-19. And that's why we also forgave our rent.
At the Albert A. Capellini.
For tenants of the Albert A. Capellini Center, we forgave. The town board voted on Tuesday to forgive rent due to the coronavirus because, again, all of our public buildings remain closed. Those tenants obviously cannot operate. The Yorktown stage was supposed to host the Sound of Music, which I was so excited about. It actually popped up this weekend on my calendar to remind me to go, but you can't go because the stage remains closed to the public. And the board unanimously felt that it was just, it was not the neighborly thing to do, that we thought it was best, obviously, to provide the relief to our tenants. And so we did so, which is a great thing.
Also, leading from the front, you know, we want to make sure that our landlords are looking to see what they can do for their tenants, especially in our businesses that have zero income right now. Mm-hmm. I know the mall has actually been working with their people.
Yep.
And, it's great to say, hey, do this, but if we don't lead with that leadership and from the front, it just doesn't,
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Mr. Supervisor. With we need to lead from the front. We need to continue our social distancing practices. If you want to expedite what the governor has put in place, and we have that 2-week period where the governor looks back and sees, and this goes out to everybody, not just the people of Yorktown. But if you want that to progress at its fastest pace possible, then you have to maintain these guidelines. I'm super excited that the conversation is turning into opening. I'm a big advocate for our business community, but that doesn't mean I'm going to run out in shorts and a t-shirt and then you still have to maintain these social guidelines, and you nailed it.
I think regardless of the phase-in process, you're still, I think just to manage expectations, you're still going to have to wear masks. You're still going to have to
Absolutely
maintain social distancing, and that's one of the things that I think the business community and governmentally that we have to explore is how do we ensure social distancing, because that is the key to keeping everyone protected. And again, just as a reminder, to ask a question, you can call in right here, 914-962 extension. 914-962-5722 extension 216. That's again 962-5722 extension 216. I know that Councilman Lachterman's manning the Facebook page. Do we have any questions that we want to talk about?
we have 4. You already addressed that if we have an idea when the schools will reopen.
Right. I mean, again, everything officially is as it stands, and our school districts are continuing to plan basically every scenario so that they're ready, which is an absolute incredible challenge. Again, I know that the governor talked about summer school for certain districts that have expressed it. I'm unaware if that's even on the table for our local districts, but I know that our school superintendents and our school boards, who have done a tremendous job, are preparing and gaming for every possible scenario.
Yeah, and I just I have several children in the school system, 2 in high school, and I received a letter from Dr. Hatter, because we're in the Yorktown School District, and they are stepping up their game with regard to the distance learning, and I believe they're actually training the teachers. There has been ongoing training from what I understand, and so they're going to actually step up the distance learning, which I'm sure my kids aren't going to appreciate, but I sure do.
Yeah. It's funny, my little guy, Charlie, he's supposed to be going to Brookside for kindergarten in September. So, we'll be getting those notices from Dr. Hatter as well. But, you think about those types of things, I guess, and it's, my wife, I can tell you, and myself too, it's upsetting because, they do the pre-bus ride and they do all that fun stuff to get them all excited. And,
Right.
And, you question, what they're going to be able to do, but I have full confidence in our school district. I really do. And not only because I'm a product of it, and many of my teachers are still there, but I just think that our leadership in both school districts are top-notch, and I know they're going to do everything in their power to protect every child and every teacher and every member of their staff, and they're going to ensure that they're getting their education. What other questions do we have?
How backed up is bulk pickup, Section
a great
3,
question.
and the upcoming pickups?
Yeah, so let's talk about bulk pickup, and I'm glad that was brought up. There is an updated bulk pickup schedule that was released this week.
You actually shared that on Facebook.
It's up on Facebook. It's on our website. So I want to, and Superintendent Paganelli, feel free to chime in here because I know you work hand in hand with our R&R staff.
Yeah, we have sort of a unique scenario in that people are at home, so traditional bulk pickup would be this much material. Now it's 3 times that much material, and we're working with half staff.
Right.
So then you take that into effect, 3 times as much to do, half as many people, it's backed up.
Yep, it's
You know,
backed
and
up.
it's an evolving scenario. How much backed up it's going to be from zone to zone, it's just be patient.
Please,
Yeah.
Be patient, and that's the key word, is patience and understanding, not just for our staff, but I said it before, with each other. But again, my hat's off to all of our staff, because the town staff has just been absolutely tremendous considering the circumstances. They're working as hard as they can, again, with literally one arm tied behind their back. And so, but Councilman,
More
you're gonna say
so,
something.
more so. We're actually in trying to promote healthy environment. We're working one man, one truck.
Right.
Which, oftentimes you'll see 10 trucks out there and you're like, what's the highway
It's like
department
a
doing out
caravan.
here? We're trying to keep everybody safe, and we are still, at the supervisor's guidance, we are, half staff on, half staff off, just so we can keep a handle on it. We've had a few people that have gone out, into quarantine and,
Right.
that 6 degrees of separation type of scenario.
Yeah.
And, we make sure that they're okay before they come back.
Right, and we have very strict guidelines that we're following, that they get approved by the Department of Health.
Yep. We take their temperature when they come in,
We do temperature checks for every employee before they walk into the building now, in every building.
any building, yep.
Any town building, any town employee walking in, for me, if I'm, running around and I don't get in here until, 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever it might be.
And we record it.
And we record it, but there's someone waiting to take your temperature.
Nobody sets foot in the buildings
Right,
without having the
exactly. Even
temperature.
when I'm in here early, there's someone waiting to take the temperature. So, to Superintendent Paganelli's point, we record it because we want to make sure that we have a record. And we're hearing a lot about tracing based on some of the guidelines being put forth by the CDC. So if someone did in a department or in a building become infected with the coronavirus, we would have a detail knowing and watching where what other employees were in the building with them at that time, and we're able to capture all that information just for everyone's health and safety. You were going to say something,
Yeah,
Councilman.
no, I was actually going to say, I am in Section 3, so we have our recycling now. They got to us at the end of the week.
Recycling or bulk?
Bulk, I'm sorry.
Bulk, okay.
And you know what, they're doing a great job. There were 3 different vehicles out there working, 3 guys, and like you said, can't say enough about the job our town employees are doing. As a matter of
Tremendous.
fact, I saw a highway crew doing curbing on Summit Street when I was going around, which is phenomenal as well.
Thank you.
So thanks.
Yeah, I was out with our water department yesterday on 202. I passed
Break.
you. We were driving over there to check on them about because we had a water main break, and we had 3 guys. There was a photo of everyone. Everyone had their masks on. Everyone was practicing. It's a little harder for them to practice social distancing, considering the
masks help.
But the masks are key, and they make sure that they're following that. But yeah, our staff's been tremendous. Here's the update for everyone. This is for bulk trash. This is for condos. Complex A is now set for Tuesday, May 5th. Complex B, Wednesday, May 6th. Complex C, Thursday, May 7th. Section 4 has been rescheduled to start on Monday, May 11th. Section 5 has been rescheduled to start on Monday, May 26th. And Section 6 is scheduled is rescheduled to start on Monday, June 8th. And that's again on our website, on the R&R website. So all that information is on our Facebook page, and all that information is right at your fingertips. Right on your fingertips. Can you talk a little bit more about the organic yard waste facility? I know that's something that you and Kim English-Gage has been working together on, and we've been seeing a very
Yes, a robust turnout.
that's a great way of describing it. Yes.
Actually, on yesterday, we had over 400 people up throughout the course of the day. People have been very good to relatively good about socially distancing. Some people wear masks, some don't. There's always a few little problems, but we will continue to keep that facility open in recognition of the fact that there are a lot of people at home, just like bringing out additional bulk trash. They would like to get their yards in shape. We're seeing a lot more traffic up there than we ever have seen before. And that being said, as long as our residents continue to do a great job socially distancing, and it's not, I would say this, it's not a playground for kids.
You can say that twice now. Yeah, say it again for me.
It's not a playground for
Playground
kids.
for kids. It's
I know the playgrounds are closed.
Not a big
but,
sandbox for kids to
no,
go.
I did see a young child sliding down a hill of mulch, which was really not grand.
Nope.
Because the mulch is organic. It's not like a plastic slide.
Right.
We don't know if there's bugs in there, whatever the case may be. I mean, I'm not suppositioning what's in there, what's not in there. But, we need just everybody, I would say overall has been excellent. And we will continue to provide that service. And we actually, a shout out to my mechanical crew, Charlie Villarino and Mike Grasso in particular. And Charlie, we had to replace a clutch on our organic horizontal recycling machine would have
What's
cost
the
about
nickname?
the Beast.
I like the nickname better.
The Beast.
Yep.
It would have probably cost us about $22,000 to send it out. And it's, it's a rather unique piece of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to do the clutch in 2 days once they got the material. And I went up there Saturday at about noon and they were done. It was,
awesome.
And the Beast was functioning again, which is great because it's again, if there's more and more stuff coming in and we're not able to process it,
Right.
Sooner or later, we're already making secondary and tertiary piles. So,
Yep.
you
I'm
know,
gonna
so
have
I'd like
I'm
to
gonna
give
have a
them-
load that I got to bring up to you guys as well. We made our first vegetable garden yesterday, taking advantage of
I
the.
saw that, and I actually brought up prickle bushes in the back of my truck, my personal truck, and somebody who I knew said, "Don't you have a truck to do this?" And I'm like, "Don't use my work truck to bring up my
Right,
personal stuff."
exactly,
And it was
exactly.
all prickle bushes. I'm pulling them out of my truck. That's all
So
right.
again, for the residents at home, the call here, 914-962-5722, extension 216. We can answer any of your questions. Again, that's 914-962-5722, extension 216. Councilman Lachterman is manning the Facebook page. If you have a question, you can post it right on Facebook for us.
Just a comment, though, that, look online for the rules for refuse and recycling rules and
Yep.
Yes.
regulations for bulk trash pickup. There are specific things that are out there, as someone's pointing out,
Correct?
and they cannot pick it up if you do not follow those rules.
Correct?
So please.
And,
Particularly even with organics, 4-foot lengths, tied in a bundle.
Right.
We can't go out there and just pick up a bunch of prickle bushes.
Right, exactly. Someone had asked earlier.
Oh, just not as much fun as you think.
Someone had asked, sent me an email earlier about e-waste day. That was something that was planned in conjunction with Westchester County. It's a county service, believe it or not. That has obviously been postponed until the appropriate time. But we do have all intentions of rescheduling that event because I know it's a very useful event for town residents. So we will obviously notify everybody once that date is announced by the county.
Would you like me to discuss the Con Edison situation?
Perfect, yeah.
Okay. I'm sure all our residents are really missing Danella and Riggs Disler working on Gomer Street and Granite Springs Road and Broad Street and through the center of town, and wondering why all of a sudden they disappeared like a ghost town. That's rather unfortunate, actually, for Yorktown because they are going to be coming right through the center of town down Commerce Street. This would be an ideal time when we have minimal traffic on our roads. Unfortunately, the governor has deemed the work that they've been doing as replacement of gas main as non-essential.
Non-essential.
So, and I've been in contact with them regularly every couple of days, and they've yet to receive guidance from the governor's office as to when they could come back to Yorktown. So that.
So we wait. We wait.
We wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know that they have a
we're
bunch
we're
of-
trying at Highway trying to do jobs that we could take advantage of the fact that
Right.
there's minimal traffic this week. Actually, weather permitting, we're doing 800 feet of drainage on Underhill Avenue from 118 out to Glenrock Street. And if you've ever heading towards the Parkway, if you've ever noticed in the rain, it's flowing over those rocks that we've constantly been putting in there. So, we hope to correct that age-long problem.
Yeah. Good.
You know.
That's great. But I see all the Danella road signs that are parked on right off of Hanover Street there. So let's. It's coming though. That's the good news.
Yes.
They are going to come and they're going to finish that job. Do you have more questions
Yep.
from Facebook?
Well, this next question actually focuses right around that. Village One is contracted to have our parking lot and sidewalks repaved. Our residents would not interact with this project. The owner assures me his workers would be safe. Is it possible to have this project done starting at the May 15th?
Well,
Date.
that's not the town's decision. Let's just be very clear about this, because I have a couple of questions from other businesses. That's not the town's call. I wish it was in some cases, but it's not. That comes directly from the governor as part of his order, the New York On Pause order. So I can't speak to whether or not they will be able to be granted that permission, because that comes above two levels of government above us right now. So we're really the ones who are here implementing, not so much setting the policy, but we can definitely work with our friends over at Jefferson Village to try to get an idea from the governor's office as to whether or not that's going to be allowed.
Yeah, I think part of on the May 15th, some construction was going to be allowed to resume. What that means,
Is anyone's guess?
yeah, I mean,
Right, exactly.
good
And
luck
it-
with that one, yeah.
And that also hinges on the regionalization approach that the governor put forward today, which hinges on the declining hospitalization rate.
Right.
So there's a lot of factors that go into this whole plan.
I think that point that you made earlier is most important to reiterate, that it's a segmental approach. It's not all of a sudden New York State's going to be open. You know, the middle of, as you had said when we were speaking off camera, as Cortland may very well open, and unfortunately, we are looped in with New York City.
Right.
And as New York City
You say
goes,
Cortland,
so
you
goes
mean
Westchester.
Cortland upstate?
Yeah,
Not
Cortland
Cortland,
upstate. No,
not Cortland down
Cortland
202.
upstate. But yeah, I mean, so as New York City goes, so goes Westchester, and so
Fortunately,
goes
that's what it looks
Yorktown.
like. Right.
Well, even Putnam Valley may have a different.
Putnam County.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, you can, that's one of my concerns, quite frankly, is that's great if you tell us that Westchester's tied in with New York City, Suffolk, and Nassau, but what happens when Putnam County can, their restaurants can reopen to a point, or their barber shops, or nail salons, or construction of some matter? I mean, it's...
And we border Putnam County.
And, yeah,
I love
right.
it when we do the weather thing, and it's like, well, in Putnam it's going to be this, and in Yorktown it's going to be that. I'm like, do they know where Indian Hill ends?
Yeah, right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And also Dutchess is
Yeah.
the same drive as heading into like White Plains, Mamaroneck
Yep.
Avenue.
Right.
Mamaroneck area.
That's definitely another challenge that they're going to have to consider, because you will have an influx of people.
Yep.
And in order to mitigate that influx in any one particular place, like upstate Cortland, you're going to have to expedite stuff when it's safe, and that's the other question that's anybody's guess,
Yep.
right?
Right.
So it's a tough one.
But just to reiterate, it all comes down to our actions, and that's the truth. The more diligent we are regarding the New York on pause order and the parameters and social distancing and social responsibility, the faster that the phase is gonna kick in for us too.
Well, I'd like to make a comment about that as well, because, and you guys were way ahead of the curve on this as well. I got a lot of calls from businesses who, have taken it upon themselves to go out and pick up gloves off the ground in front of their businesses, because people are throwing their gloves down, and that's not
a
really
big
being
problem.
That's not really being socially responsible. So I'm asking everybody within earshot, take your gloves, put them in a garbage can, because when they go in the garbage can, the garbage bag is another barrier. And that will help to expedite all of this. So we want to get this open as fast as possible. Nobody is more excited and really, really want to get this as fast as possible, get our business district going again. Save the supervisor, of course. So that's another thing that we could do. And I'm asking you, I'm not telling you, I'm not demanding it. I'm not, I'm just pleading and reaching out to you guys.
It's also against the law. And
It's also against the law.
We've doubled the fine in the town of Yorktown to $1,000 for anyone who litters, whether that's throwing throwing the gloves in a parking lot, or throwing a mask out your window, or illegally dumping. We've increased the fine as part of our emergency orders, and we've introduced it as legislation for the town board to permanently double the fine, because we are absolutely opposed and find it reprehensible for anyone to be littering at any point in time, let alone when you're discarding medical waste that could be contaminated. And so we're taking it very seriously, without a doubt, but again, it comes down to social responsibility, making those right choices.
We've actually been experiencing that a lot with our sweeper. We rented a sweeper this year, and we've had it out every day with the intent of sweeping the entire town. We're anticipating a difference in traffic, more foot traffic, more bicycle traffic.
Correct.
So I want to get all that gravel and things off the road so people are safe. And a day doesn't go by that our sweeper goes out where we don't get minimum 20 pairs of gloves that we sweep up. Now, that goes into a pile,
Right.
and at some point, someone has to touch that.
Right.
So I agree with Sergio. I don't see what's so difficult about putting them in the garbage.
I
I
have no clue.
I don't understand it.
have no clue. I don't understand it either, but we're trying to hold people accountable. And so that doubling of the fine hopefully will be put into law. So it's $1,000 minimum, because whether it's today or in 3 weeks or 3 months, it's not an excuse. And so when we talk about being socially responsible, it includes protecting our environment, protecting our neighbors, and protecting, quite frankly, the people who are out there providing essential services, whether it's your staff who's out there with the sweeper, or whether it's the staff of Acme or BJ's or one of our grocery stores. I mean, it's just unacceptable. And not only is it unacceptable, but it's disrespectful to them, because they're out there providing an essential service for you and your family. And I just think that to discard your gloves and your masks or whatever it might be in their parking lot for them to pick up. It's just disrespectful. End of line for me. So.
And I did have someone comment to me the other day about the fact that, hey, that's a pretty hefty fine. And, you know, I was a big TV guy growing up, and the theme from Beretta was don't do the crime if you can't do the time. And I guess now it's don't do the crime if you can't pay the fine.
Yeah.
We'll update it.
I think people will do it.
Town Hall, Mr. Supervisor Slater. Yes, so absolutely. I appreciate the question. I'll address it right now. Thank you. So the question the question was how many people to date. I've asked our building department to produce a report. I know they had a few that they've cited. I know that they've been cracking down on fire lane parking as well, which has been an issue for God.
Ever?
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, we've had people that our code enforcement has busted on littering.
Yeah, they've been very vigilant about that.
Yeah, and we're investing in additional litter camps, and so we're going to be putting them strategically around town. We have one right now, but I'm hoping this week we're going to have a few more that we're going to be putting in places that we see high litter areas, and those are going to be able to hopefully crack down even more.
And it's important to note that this isn't, you know, some kind of call to arms for the citizens of Yorktown. You know, the town is taking care of it. The town is aware of the issue. I'm pleading to anybody out there to just, you know, throw your gloves away in the in a garbage can or dispose of them properly. What I do is I take them. I have a little plastic bag in my car, and then when I pull up to go get gas at a gas station, I throw it in a garbage can there or something like that. So I don't want, you know, my intention isn't to have people like fight with each other over this. The town's got it.
Town Hall, Mr. Supervisor Slater. Correct. Yep. Yep. We laid that out earlier in the beginning of our session tonight. The governor rolled it out a little bit today. It's going to be phased in regionally based on 2 weeks of hospitalization decline. And that's the first trigger, and then there's a multi-phase process that's put forth not just by the governor's office, by the CDC for us to follow. Right. What if? When you say going back again, do you mean from the virus's standpoint, or right? Yeah. Well, that's what we're guarding against. Well, that's what we're guarding against is the rebound is what they call it. The governor, I believe it was 2 days ago, I think it was Friday, actually had a graphic, and if we're not following the social distancing and social responsibility and following the parameters, the rebound actually doubles the number of infected of the peak infections, and that's what we're guarding against. And we know that because we've seen it in places like Italy, we saw it in China, we saw it in South Korea, we saw it in places like Thailand. So that's what they're guarding against, and they have, so we're trying to make the decisions based on science and data, and so that's the direction that the governor's going in. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Bye. Yeah, so that's a great question, though, we're guarding against the rebound. We saw it in Italy. We saw it in other countries. And so that's what that's why the slow return and the slow phase-in is so crucial. Because if we just if we just unlock it all, and it's back to business, and the governor, and I wish I had the graphic, but the projection showed that they would double the peak of infections that we just came down from, which is crazy to think about. So you're not just going to where we were, you're doubling it. And that's going to put a lot of people in harm's way. So other questions from Facebook, Ed?
Yes, okay. Where can we dispose of our clothes that we don't need anymore? Because the bins in town are full and some have been closed.
Well, first off, the reason some have been closed is because people, when they're full, still put their donations around the bin, so it starts to look like a junkyard. Quite frankly, we've had several. You've helped me with
Yes.
some of those as well.
Yeah, we will remove them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because they become unsightly and frankly
Very
become
fester vermin.
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's a problem.
Then a well-intentioned donation gets spoiled.
Yes.
And so that's a problem. For donations, and this is actually something that Thursday, we're actually going to be having a number of our not-for-profits on with us. The show. I feel like this is the show now. It's which is kind of funny. But they're going to be joining me for an update, talking about some of the things they're providing. We've got people like Paula Miratello from My Brother Vinny, Kathy Quinn from Support Connections, Sue Salamone from Drug Crisis in Our Backyard, because these are essential parts of our community, and they're still providing levels of support and overcoming the physical barriers of not being able to help somebody in person. And so we can address the donations. What's the one on Front Street? I'm drawing a blank on it off the top.
Love and Action.
Love and Action. I think they're still taking. Are they still taking donations?
Yeah, I know she had a question about sanitizing the bags, pulling
That's the
them in.
problem. Is it's hard to take donations right now when you don't know where it's coming from.
Right.
I'm not sure she's taking donations
Okay,
because
I wasn't sure.
I think I got an email from her.
Okay.
People were just dumping stuff in front of her place.
Right. So I think my advice would be to hold on to it for now, because again, we just don't know if we just can't get it.
Do we know how our town bins are, our cloth recycling bins?
Right now, they are. I looked Friday, and they weren't at max capacity. So I guess we could. But again, the question and concern I have is where are they coming from?
Right.
And I can't guarantee that the next person who's going to touch them, unless
Although those aren't they textile recycling?
They are
I don't
textile
know.
recycling.
Right? I don't know necessarily that they would go into a person's.
I would
but
hold on
maybe
to
the
them.
intent of the person donating would then be lost.
Right, exactly. That's why I would say if you're trying to donate clothes until we can provide a clear path to do so, I would just hold on to them for the time being. Again, my greatest concern is ensuring the health and safety of the recipients and the volunteers who would be going through it. So I would hold on to it for a bit longer.
Well, yeah, and this talks about disposal, which is taking it out of the trash cycle, and recycling it itself. So I don't.
So then
think
you can
this
drop it off the textile. You can drop it off here for textile recycle. If you're not
saying
looking to donate it,
these are filled too, though. I think that's what the problem is.
they weren't filled on Friday when I saw them. But I'll check. I'll
yeah.
check
Although
before.
Saturday was a nice day, so it's
Yeah, that's true. They could have. Yeah, that's true. They could have been filled on Saturday. We'll check, and then if not,
So,
we'll
yeah,
work
so-
with our R&R to provide
Right.
Or have them picked
Right.
up.
If it's a donation for an individual charity, that's one thing. If it's the recycling through the town boxes and they're full, I guess I could contact through the supervisor's office or contact Refuse and Recycling Direct to let them know it's filled, and they could try to get that into their schedule to pick up.
Yeah, I just don't see donations happening right now. So if it's to recycle, we'll work with our R&R director and staff to make sure that there's a way to do that. Other questions from Facebook?
Sure. Of the numbers for those tested positive in Yorktown, is that number cumulative since
Cumulative.
the start? Yep. Do we know the demographics?
We don't. All they give me is the cumulative number overall, broken down by date. So it just continues to compile.
And do we have no idea of recovery rate?
No, they don't provide recovery rate.
nor a fatality rate.
Nor a fatality rate, and the fatality rate is concerning. It's something I'm working on with our town clerk on, quite frankly, because the way that it works is if you have a Yorktown resident, we don't get notified if they pass away, and they pass away outside of Yorktown, we don't get notified. If they pass away in
So
Yorktown,
that meaning different hospitals
any
that are
hospital.
outside
If
of Yorktown,
anyone
right?
from the town of Yorktown passes away from COVID-19 in the hospital, we don't get an official notification. The other thing we're seeing is that cause of death is not being, I don't want to say properly identified, but it's heart attack. So it's like cardiac arrest, but it's cardiac arrest that's being brought on by COVID-19.
Correct, that happens.
Right, and so
often than not.
we think that the numbers are actually more than what's actually being reported, because the way that the ones that are being reported to us, again, it's symptoms, it's not the underlying issue. Only a handful have been specific COVID-19 on the notification to the town. So that's something that the town clerk Quast and I are looking into. Actually, we had a conversation today about it. Other questions from Facebook?
Yes, just a comment. Someone did say that they heard directly from like Big Brothers and another
Right, I
charity.
saw that, yeah.
That they're not
accepting donations.
accepting anything right now. Are residents who go in and out of the compost hill off of Greenwood getting their temperatures taken and being documented too?
Not residents.
Right.
Only employees. Residents, though,
They are being documented that they were there.
They were there.
So we have a list of every person that's
Right.
ever been there.
Right.
You know,
I had a couple of questions from the
but no,
business
we're not
community.
taking
Hold on one
temperatures.
Hold on one second there. But we're not taking temperatures, but everyone there is also practicing social distancing.
Yes.
Right.
So one of the questions I got from the business community about the PPP loan.
Great.
Again, it's been refunded, and the loan process is starting again tomorrow, where they're going to start funding loans. So look for money, guys, if you have a PPP application in. One of the other things that I'm advising people to do is to check their online portal. Go in there. There might be some status update, or check your email. You definitely want to make sure that your loan that you may have already put in, the application, that they didn't kick it back to you asking for more information. Once it got defunded, it was exhausted the first round. They may have stopped processing the applications, even though they said they were, banks in general. So you want to make sure that now that it got refunded, they started, looking at the loans again. And if they're asking you for additional information, you may want to check that out. One place that you could look that I've heard that people have been getting noticed is in their online portal. Again, the loan program goes back into effect tomorrow. Another question that I received are about stimulus checks.
Well, you say tomorrow, but tomorrow's Monday.
Tomorrow's Monday.
If it
yes.
plays tomorrow, then it's not tomorrow.
Right.
It's Monday. So it starts on Monday.
Monday the 26th, 27th.
Yep.
All right. So the other thing is your stimulus checks. Some of us may not have received it yet. I know that the paper checks are being mailed. I believe the number is about 2 million a week are getting mailed. And I believe that it's going to take about 20 weeks, these are the estimates, for everyone to get their paper check. If you have direct deposit, you probably received it, although I heard that some people haven't yet, as of yet, even though they had direct deposit. The website, irs.gov, you could check your payment status there, but it's not really working as well as people might think. And that's the status on your stimulus checks that are coming your way. So those are the two main issues that, aside from the businesses with the glove issue, that people have been asking about.
Right. It was great to see that the PPP loan was replenished, their program. I know we've been getting a lot of questions about that as well.
Yeah.
But you and the chamber and the Small Business Association, really done a tremendous job.
Thank you.
Really educating your not just your members, but all the small businesses about how to apply. And I know you've been very hands-on with that. So I really want to thank you.
Thank you.
For all you've done.
The last thing is that I forgot to mention with the stimulus checks. They are going out by way of from low income to higher income. So if you're on the lower end,
get
those
it
checks
sooner.
are going to go first.
Yep.
And so that if you don't receive it and your neighbor
said it was
receives
what?
it or something,
Possibly up to 20 weeks in delay.
possibly up to
depending on where you are in the queue.
Yeah, not delay depending on where you are in the queue. It's a lot to print.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the whole thing is the whole situation, the whole pandemic is just something.
Yeah. Right. It's
Of such great proportion that it's hard to catch up.
Yep.
And keep up.
Good. Any other? I saw we had another question come across, Ed.
Yeah, there was one that, hold on. Sorry, because it just jumped. My question is, when and where will essential workers be tested as per governor's order?
Central workers.
Essential workers.
Essential workers.
Well, they haven't told us. There's the testing sites that currently exist are at Westchester Medical Center, Glen Island, and I believe Phelps. There are 2 testing sites, one in Yonkers, one in Mount Vernon. I know that there are a number of urgent cares and healthcare providers that offer testing here in the town, as well as over in Somers and Cortland. There is no state-run site in northern Westchester. That's a fact. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't think that he's provided that guidance and clarification yet.
Is the question, is it even a governmental order that essential workers be tested?
I think what if my memory serves me correctly, what he believes, and I agree with him, is that essential workers should be at the front of the line for testing.
I agree.
The antibody test is really starting to circulate. Something that I hope that we can offer for our town employees as a part of our process and bringing our full workforce back. But yeah, I mean, essential workers should be prioritized. There's no doubt about it. Our nurses and doctors and police and firefighters, our ambulance, our VACs, YVAC and MVAC, who've been just above and beyond. I mean, they really have been. But as to a specific site, there hasn't been one that we've been notified of that is available for that use at this point in time.
Actually, I just had a comment come across that on Friday the 30th, there will be testing offered near Stop and Shop in Baldwin Place.
So that's an urgent care center.
Okay.
That's an urgent care center. They have 200 tests. And so...
Is that antibody test?
Yeah, what kind of test is
No,
it?
that's a COVID-19 test. And there are, like I said, there are other places in town that I know also offer it, so
Right.
that it's getting out there. The antibody test is new. That's more cutting edge. That provides a more comprehensive history, because even if you're not symptomatic, you can still have the antibodies in your system. And so the antibody test will be able to tell you if you have the immunity or the antibodies. And if you have the antibodies, what they'd like to see people do is donate their plasma through the New York Blood Center, because that's going to help treat patients who have COVID-19. But the one in Somers, they're doing one in Somers, one in Cortland. It's an urgent care center, 200 tests each on each side, but it's not a state-run. It's not a state-run drive-through.
First
site.
come, first serve.
First come, first serve, and you're in and out.
Actually, someone just posted that antibody tests are being offered at Pulse MD starting tomorrow.
Yep, I know Pulse has it, AFC has it, so I think a lot of our urgent care centers are going to start to have it, and they're putting their procedures in place to
Offer it out.
offer it out to the public, which is great.
Yep.
Which is really great. Other questions from Facebook, and if anyone, again, we're here for another few minutes. 914-962-5722, extension 216. Again, that's 914-962-5722, extension 216. We're here just for a few more minutes. Happy to take as many questions as we can.
So-
If you do have a question that we can't get to, you can email me directly at mslater@yorktownny.org, and we can circulate that amongst the people here, as well as our department heads, depending on what it's related to. You can also always call my office directly at 914-962-5722, extension 200, and we try to get back to everyone as quickly as we can. Any other questions?
Someone that you might know actually said that AFC will also be offering.
That's how I knew.
tomorrow.
Well, that's how I knew, and I try.
Yes.
I try.
Have
to,
an inside line over
I
there?
try to promote all of our urgent care.
And insurance will cover the test 100%. She just
That's
said
correct.
As well.
Yeah, which is actually that's the key. Your insurance, if people who have health insurance, covers the antibody test 100%,
That's awesome.
which is great. I mean that's going to be the key, and the federal government, the CDC, they've all emphasized the fact that the antibody test is really the key to unlock
Yes.
phasing everything back in. Town Hall, Supervisor Slater. Well, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that. Do you have a question for us? Well, we appreciate that. We're here to serve the public, and we just have a gentleman on the phone just saying thank you to us for providing this service and information, and we're glad to do it. All right, thanks so much. Stay well. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.
This gets me out of cooking dinner, so I'm happy to be here.
Well, listen,
What do you
dinner
think?
special
You think
tonight,
that
though.
time frame has elapsed?
your dinner's special, though, and so
Your anniversary
as
today.
we
It's
wrap
Ed's-
up, a happy
Ed's
anniversary
anniversary.
to you and to Carol. 28 years,
28 years, yeah.
right? It's awesome.
Woman
Congratulations.
must be a saint.
No kidding, Carol. 28 years. God bless you.
Either that or a lot more evil than me, one or the other.
That's great.
Well, there was pointed out that the governor's signing tomorrow the executive order allowing 5,000 independent pharmacists to conduct tests. The
Yep.
results will be
That's
processed
what I was
at
saying.
the
It's going to be
lab.
wide. The testing is going to be widespread. Yeah.
Yep.
Those are also independent pharmacies, not just your chains, which I think is very important because you think of we not only have CVS in the town of Yorktown, but you have places like Rexall,
Taconic
Taconic.
Pharmacy.
So we do have Yorktown does have a mix when it comes to the pharmacies, but independent pharmacies are going to be able to offer this as well.
Right. There was a shout out to Sissio Supermarket for the response to the pandemic with respect to the seniors
Yep.
and the general
there's
public.
There's still senior shopping hours for all of our grocery stores, including BJ's. BJ's took, and I'm very proud of this. This was an initiative that Yorktown was first on, quite frankly, and they took their policy for seniors and immunocompromised, and it's now a national policy during the pandemic for BJ's.
Really?
Yep.
Great. And then there was one question, which I think that's about it, and maybe end it on a lighter note.
Sure.
It was a thank you for the job we're doing, and someone wanted to know, Dave, where you get your hair cut during this time.
It's been very difficult getting my hair cut. I got to tell you.
I told Kelly actually before I got over here. I told my wife that she might have to watch one of the do-it-yourself YouTube videos because
I actually spoke to someone that just did that.
Yeah.
They said it came out
Logie,
okay.
Is that what it is?
Oh man, it's killing me. That's
I would like to give a shout out to Anna Fryer of Fryer's
Yes.
Oh,
Flowers.
that's right. Happy
90 years
birthday.
old.
90 years old yesterday, Saturday.
That's right. Happy birthday, Mrs.
Happy
Fryer.
birthday,
Yeah,
Mrs. Fryer.
so
An institution in Yorktown.
Great.
they've been
yep,
here
a
since
great, great
1968.
family. Yep,
1968. Can you imagine?
it's fantastic. Highway Superintendent, closing remarks.
We're there for you. We'll always be there. Anything we can do to help, town-wide, highway-wise, you always give us a call. We'll steer you in the right direction, and we'll always be there to answer the phone. We'll be out doing our thing, doing some major drainage work this week, weather permitting, and, happy to keep muddling along. So, and thank you all for your support. Thank you for your generosity to the Highway Department in various ways, and we're just grateful to have you out there and safe.
Fantastic. Sergio, Mr. President over here.
Check your banks. Make sure you get that PPP loan. Stay in business. My goal is I'm pounding the pavement. My goal is to have 100% of the businesses that were in Yorktown come back. And I'm fighting for that for everybody. I need you guys to fight as well. Hang in there. Things are turning. We're moving in the direction of opening. It may be slow. It may be phased in, but at least we're going in that direction. So stay with us and stay to fight.
Fantastic. Councilman Lachterman.
We needed to let you know that Mr. T is doing a good job. I think that means, Mr. T is doing good. He must, Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes, actually, Carol called him earlier today.
I owe him a phone call, actually.
He was on the hill the other day.
What?
Was he? Yeah, that figures.
Yep, Thursday. I saw him up on the hill.
He's genuinely
Drop-
one of my
dropping off leaf bags.
favorite people in this town. I had the honor of going on honor flight.
Yep.
He was a veteran that I brought on honor flight, and we had just an absolutely special day. I'll never.
He's a
forget
great
it.
guy.
Yep.
He is a great guy, and thank you, Martin, for looking out. Of course,
Yep.
one of his neighbors, so he's always
Absolutely.
looking out.
Over
for
on
him.
Hedwig. Yep. So you were saying?
So, look, you know what? I just can't say enough great things about the town, our frontline workers, nurses, our just even in the supermarkets, and it just really, our businesses have really adopted. They're trying to do their best to help us out. Sergio, from the chamber point of view, thank you. It's phenomenal to see that. And look, practice the social distancing, do what we can. Yesterday, Cal and I were driving back from the market. There were two people walking the track side by side, didn't look related, and they, not wearing masks. And it's,
I saw similar things.
we really, we want to get reopened, and it's going to be a team effort to get that number down, and that's what it's been. So please keep that focus. Please keep on it. And then also seniors, if you are in need of meals because you can't get out as much, can't prepare, please contact the Nutrition Center. I think they are done with the waiting list on Meals on Wheels during this time and can afford to get back there and get some more people on there. I had been helping them out, but we got a couple of people back. I'm still, Noreen, if you're watching, still available to help. All you got to do is text in the morning. But there are people that can help get the meals out, and if you need it, please contact our Nutrition Center.
Great. And our Nutrition Center is serving now, I think, north of 120 homebound seniors.
Yep.
And I said it before, they're saving their lives because otherwise they wouldn't have any food.
And nice meals.
And they're very good meals.
They do smell really good when I'm
and nice
driving them
meals.
around.
So to our entire staff at the Nutrition Center, just a big thank you.
Yes.
You've been on the front lines, as from the beginning of this, and have provided invaluable service to some of our most vulnerable neighbors. So to our nutrition staff, again, thank you. Just a few other announcements before I sign off here. From the courts, just please take notice that our court is closed. There is no court business. That is per the Office of Court Administration. So the court is closed. Anyone with court business needs to telephone the court at 914-962-6216. Again, 914-962-6216. And the last thing I just want to leave off with is, something, again, I heard the governor say today, and that's, we continue to provide this information, and we provide the information so you can make the best decisions possible, not just for you, not just for your family, but for everybody in this town. And you've heard it multiple times emphasized, if we're going to get through to the point where we're going to see the phased openings and life after the coronavirus, we need you, and I like that word, focus. We need to stay focused. We need to stay focused on making those socially responsible decisions. And I saw it myself, I drive around every day. I've got my times, my spots that I check out. I'm not going to say when or where, but they're there.
Best.
And I saw it yesterday. People, it's definitely lax. And it's not, and I understand it, I get it. I'm not, innocent of it either. But fact of the matter is, and I like that, we have to remain focused, refocus, and we have to do it together.
And the
as a
6
community.
degrees of separation.
And
that's the key. You're with someone, you know them, but who they've been in contact with.
And that's it.
And that's the thing not to
exactly it.
lose focus of. It's
Just don't, and that's my point. Exactly. You just don't know where the person next to you has been, even if it's a friend that you've known, your entire life. And trust me, I wish I could hang out with some of my buddies right now, and I'm looking forward to doing it hopefully soon. But until that time, we have to respect the parameters and understand that they are there for our health and our safety. And this town government will continue to stay laser focused on protecting everyone's health and safety. We have several initiatives that we're going to be launching this week, which I'm very excited about. We have our planning board is meeting tomorrow night via Zoom. Our town board meeting is meeting Tuesday night via Zoom. I want to correct that. Our planning board is meeting Monday night. Right, Tom? Our best producer in TV. Our planning board's meeting Monday night. Our town board's meeting Tuesday night. So government continues to function, and we are continuing to explore every possible way to help usher in that phase-in process. But it's going to take a team effort, a community effort. So remember, your choices they genuinely can be a matter of life and death for someone. And we still have people. We added more people on the list today. Unfortunately, we've had more neighbors lose their battle with COVID-19. So it's still here. It's still serious. And we have to continue to take it serious. And with that being said, as always, any valid and new information, we remain committed to providing to you, the public, so you can make the right choices on a daily basis. And again, if you do have any questions, you can always reach out to me directly at mslater@yorktownny.org or 962-5722, extension 200. So stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much.